Katrina Liang was supposed to be the FBI's most valuable inside source on China. Instead, she fed American secrets back to Beijing while sleeping with her FBI handler. Unlike the KGB, which targeted men driven by ideology, resentment, or the lure of money, China's spy service recruits a very different profile. The Ministry of State Security, or MSS, prefers stable, respected, well-connected immigrants, appealing to a sense of cultural pride and a duty to help the motherland. Katrina fit that mold perfectly. She was a prominent member of the Chinese-American community in LA, with deep connections in political and business circles. In China's intelligence circle, it's never about one master spy stealing a vault of secrets. It's 1,000 grains of sand, tiny pieces of information gathered by students, tourists, and business travelers. Katrina Liang was meant to be one more grain, but she was far more. Much of what you're about to hear comes from David Wise's excellent book, Tiger Trap, one of the definitive accounts of Chinese espionage cases in America. This is the story of how Katrina Liang became one of the FBI's most catastrophic intelligence failures. Katrina was born in Guangzhou, China, and given away by her parents to be raised by her aunt and uncle after they lost a child of their own. She grew up in Hong Kong and, as a teenager, immigrated to New York on a passport with a slightly altered birth date. She pushed her way into Cornell University on a scholarship, where she met her future husband, Cam. After college, she became active in pro-Beijing student circles and built connections with influential Chinese Americans in Chicago. When she and Cam moved to Los Angeles in 1980, she briefly served as the general manager of an import-export company the FBI suspected of legally transferring U.S. technology to China. In August 1982, FBI Special Agent James J.J. Smith knocked on her door. After months of meetings, she finally agreed to work for the FBI. She was given the code name Parlor Maid, and at 31, she became the FBI's star source on China's Communist Party leadership and the Ministry of State Security. Over nearly 2 decades, the Bureau paid her more than $1.7 million. Her intelligence went straight to the top, reaching 4 U.S. presidents and influencing American policy toward China. What the FBI didn't know was that their star recruit was compromised from the beginning. Soon after meeting JJ, they became sexually involved. He then introduced her to Bill Cleveland, the FBI's chief of Chinese counterintelligence in San Francisco. Cleveland and JJ were partners on Tiger Trap, an investigation into China's attempts to steal U.S. nuclear secrets. Cleveland eventually began sleeping with her too. Neither agent knew about the other's affair. Whether the MSS encouraged her relationships isn't clear, but Katrina now had intimate access to 2 married FBI agents, both eager to protect their careers and terrified of exposure. Her first major assignment should have blown everything open. JJ ordered her to visit her friend Hansen Huang, a Harvard-educated lawyer who had been arrested in China for espionage. Foreigners are almost never allowed anywhere near political prisoners. Yet, Katrina walked straight in and handed the FBI a detailed report. In China, you don't get that kind of access unless the MSS knows who you are and wants you inside. Instead of seeing it as a warning sign, the FBI treated it as a victory. In March 1991, Katrina met Jiang Zemin, the Communist Party Secretary General and future president, as well as the head of the MSS, Jia Chunwang, and the head of the MSS's American department, Mao Guohua, who was her handler. She pretended she was there to help the FBI. In reality, the meeting was about how she could help China. They wanted her to become a major Republican donor to gain influence in U.S. politics. Beijing hoped George H.W. Bush would be re-elected because they weren't sure a new president would be as friendly. MSS agreed to fund her political donations, with $10,000 getting her in the door. A month later, the NSA intercepted a call in Mandarin between a woman in Los Angeles codenamed Luo and her handler Mao in Beijing. Luo told Mao that FBI agent Bill Cleveland was planning a trip to China. The tape was sent to Cleveland. He instantly recognized the voice. It was Katrina. He and JJ panicked. To save their careers and hide their affairs, they spun the intercept as if Katrina had permission to tell the MSS she had FBI contacts. At headquarters, they argued Parlor Maid was too important to shut down, so it continued. There were earlier warning signs that the FBI ignored. In 1988, China opened a new consulate in Los Angeles and consulted Katrina on its location and design. The FBI was thrilled she was involved because they planned to bug the building to capture calls, faxes, and emails. But soon after, the devices went dead. The FBI learned that Katrina had tipped off the Chinese. Yet JJ insisted she couldn't have known about the surveillance because he didn't know about it, so she was cleared of any wrongdoing. What he didn't know was that during his visits to her San Marino, California home, Katrina secretly copied classified documents from his briefcase while he showered and quietly passed them to the MSS. And when an FBI source warned in 1992 that a Katrina inside the bureau was working for China, JJ dismissed him as a liar and a misogynist. As explained in David Wise's Tiger Trap, one of the reasons Katrina kept slipping through the cracks was because there was constant turnover in the FBI's China units, and only JJ knew her full operational history. When he retired in late 2000, CIA Director George Tenet awarded him the National Intelligence Medal of Freedom, recognizing Katrina as one of the FBI's biggest successes. When JJ retired, the one person who had been shielding her was gone. In July 2000, New China Section Chief Ken Gaidi reviewed the Parler-Maid file. He concluded that Katrina was likely known to Chinese intelligence since grad school at the University of Chicago. She might have been an MSS asset from the very beginning. Becoming a spy isn't just about keeping secrets, it's about thinking several steps ahead. And that kind of thinking is something you can train with Brilliant. Try to predict the next word in this sentence. My name is... Most people instinctively choose Emma, but large language models like ChatGPT and Grok are trained to predict the most statistically probable next word, and the word the appears far more frequently after is than Emma. What I especially love are Brilliant's math courses. From algebra to college-level calculus, you're not just memorizing formulas, you're learning how to break down problems and figure things out on your own. There's something on Brilliant no matter your interest, whether it's science, computer science, programming, data, or logic puzzles. You can start learning for free at brilliant.org/newsthink or by scanning the QR code. And Brilliant is giving my viewers 20% off a premium annual subscription, which gives you unlimited access to their thousands of lessons. In 2001, China discovered 27 hidden bugs inside President Jiang Zemin's customized Boeing 767. Investigators couldn't prove Katrina was the source of the leak, but they suspected it. In late 2001, the FBI started secretly monitoring her and caught her meeting JJ in hotel rooms after his retirement, and even filmed them being intimate. When FBI Director Robert Mueller was briefed in early 2002, he erupted. The Bureau now had to assume that nearly 20 years of intelligence from Katrina may have been compromised. Before she left for a trip to China on November 11, 2002, agents secretly searched her luggage at LAX. They found a fax from JJ containing photographs of 6 FBI agents, including 2 still on active duty. When she returned 2 weeks later, her luggage was checked again and the photos were gone. When JJ was interrogated in December 2002, he denied having a sexual relationship with her, but admitted he had probably told Liang too much. Katrina initially denied having an affair with JJ, insisting it was purely a business relationship. But she eventually confessed they'd been intimate since the 1980s and admitted to removing documents from his briefcase. She even opened her home safe and turned over top-secret NSA summaries of her intercepted calls with her Chinese handler. She spun it by explaining that she was originally loyal to the FBI, but China discovered notes in her luggage, forcing her to confess to being an FBI asset before agreeing to share intel with the MSS. The FBI also discovered classified material in her home from the espionage case involving Los Alamos physicist Peter Lee, who leaked classified defense information to China, material she had no business having. On April 9, 2003, Katrina Liang was arrested and charged with the unauthorized copying of national defense information with the intent to injure the U.S. or benefit a foreign power. But she wasn't charged with espionage because proving espionage in court would have forced the government to expose extremely sensitive intelligence. The full extent of the damage she caused remains classified. J.J. Smith was also arrested and charged with gross negligence in handling national defense material. He eventually pleaded guilty to lying to investigators about his affair with Katrina. The negligence charge was dropped. His plea agreement included a clause barring him from speaking to Katrina or her lawyers. The The judge ruled that this violated her right to confront a key witness and dismissed her entire case. To avoid a new trial, Katrina accepted a deal. She pleaded guilty to lying about her affair with JJ and failing to report FBI payments on her income taxes. She was sentenced to 3 years probation, 200 hours of community service, and a $10,000 fine. She did not receive any prison time. JJ was sentenced to 3 months of house arrest, 3 years probation, and a $10,000 fine. He also avoided jail time, but his reputation never recovered. Bill Cleveland, the other FBI agent she was sleeping with, wasn't charged but resigned from his then job as the chief of counterintelligence at the Lawrence Livermore lab the day after the arrests. Today, Katrina lives quietly, stripped of the influence she once wielded in the Chinese-American community. After years of seeking the spotlight, she now avoids it completely. Thanks for watching. For Newsthink, I'm Cindy Pom.